Hey everyone, this is Clarinetgamer here, and I'm here with my review of Spyro the Dragon. Like I said before, in the last part of Spyro the Dragon in my Let's Play, I'd be doing a review of Spyro the Dragon, along with, well, the interview with a YouTuber that I'm going to be choosing, and the speedrun with that YouTuber as well. But anyway, diving into this review, first of all, the story of this game. The plot is the game takes place in the Kingdom of Dragons, where the dragons are being interviewed for some random reason. I don't know why, like they're randomly interviewed, but they're asked a question about Nasty Nork, who's the main villain of the game, and one of the dragons thinks it's a fantastic idea to say Nasty Nork is a simple creature who's contained in the remote world and no threat to the Dragon Kingdom, and even resorts to calling him ugly. So I don't see what would have been the problem in that all along. But anyway, Nasty Nork then freezes the dragons in crystal in retaliation for that insult, except for Spyro. And basically, the main goal of this game is to go through each level rescuing dragons, confronting the bosses at the end, including Nasty Nork himself in the final world. The gameplay for this game is, well, basically you've got to go through each level in each world collecting dragons, collecting gems. Is like, I think it's like 12,000, I think, or is it 14,000? Yeah, I quoted one of the dragons there at the beginning. I had to do that, but I think it might have been 14,000. I think it sounded like that dragon at the beginning of the game. And in the first three worlds, you have to rescue or collect dragon eggs from the egg thieves in the first few worlds. And in total, there's 80 dragons to rescue. Now, as you may recall, I never actually got all the dragons in my Let's Play. There were some dragons which I wasn't able to get because I thought they were too hard, especially Treetops. Treetops is just a hard level. I mean, you have to do like a lot of supercharging in that level to get to one of those dragons, and getting one of the thieves to get like gems, like a 25 gem, I think. But yeah, that dragon is hard to get. I believe there's another one I missed as well, but anyway, going on with the rest of it, the rest of the gameplay, like you have controls like for Spyro, such as you can glide to different areas, like especially to high areas where you can collect a lot of gems, collect keys for treasure chests that contain gems. You can also breathe fire, obviously, since he's a dragon. You can charge as well to get rid of enemies that have metal around them to protect themselves from fire attacks. And there's also a dragonfly by your side as well, whose name is Sparks, kind of like Aku Aku in this game, except Sparks has a lot more hit points. And basically, Sparks, I don't know actually, I don't know if he's better than Aku Aku in a way, because I'm not saying Aku Aku's bad in Crash Bandicoot. I'm saying that like Sparks actually has this ability, like if you go in your gems, like if Sparks is at his full potential, if he's at his full power, he'll be able to get all of the, well, gems that are surrounded near you. So like they'll attract towards you. Whereas if you don't have that much power, Sparks won't be able to pick up the gems for you. So yeah, well, Sparks is a good sidekick to have, although Aku Aku is good in his own way as well, but this is in the Crash Bandicoot review, so let's just carry on. There are 6 different worlds for the game. The Artisan world, which is basically the first home world, and like, well, the tutorial world, let's just say, and the Artisan homeworld is a very bright and colourful place. Like, it's got many different levels, like Town Square, the what else do they have? Night time, I think, or I can't even remember most of the levels now. But the world in this one is quite bright, different coloured schemes in each world. Peacekeepers, that's got the one with the hot air balloon, like the enemies who moon you. Of course, I have to mention that the enemies that moon you in that world. And then there's the magic crafters. That's quite different because there's enemies in that world that use magic to try to well, confuse you, and also like to trick you as well. You know, magic tricks. Yeah. And then fourth world is beast makers, and yeah, that's the world that's got treetops in it. That's the only hard. I think that, in my opinion, that's the hardest level in the game. And there's also Dreamweavers as well, which is again a great contrast to Beastmakers, because, well, Dreamweavers is a bright world, whereas Beastmakers is a very dark world. Like, it was a very like swamp-filled world, whereas this one, Dreamweavers, is like high up in the sky, and it was like very bright and colourful. Some of the levels. And then of course the final world you have is Nasty's world, which is, well, probably the darkest world of them all. Because it's got like Twilight Harbor, well, maybe not the one with the ships on it, like the first level on it. I'm having trouble remembering the names of levels now, but it doesn't really matter. But the boss levels in this game, they're quite good. Each boss level is quite different, although it's basically the same thing you do over and over again. Just like go up to the boss, breathe fire on them every time, and you go up to a different stage, and you just keep doing it. And the boss levels are as follows. Like the first boss is Toasty, which is basically a pumpkin, like a sheep, like with a pumpkin, like dressed as a pumpkin, like with stilts. That's basically what Toasty is. And then you got Dr. Shemp, who I think is the hardest boss in the game. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it was hard to actually figure out who is the hardest boss in the game. But if I were to say it, it'd probably be Dr. Shemp, because if you miss Dr. Shemp when hitting him, then he'll hit you and there's no way you can avoid it. At least from what I can tell anyway. But Dr. Shemp isn't too bad, but if I were to say the hardest boss in the game, it'd probably be him. Some people might disagree with me, but that's just what I think. The third boss is Blowhard, I think is what. Yeah, Blowhard. Yeah, Blowhard. That's all I can say about that. The fourth boss is Metalhead, and that's quite unique in its own way because you have to charge these conducting poles which power them up, and that gives you an opportunity. Once you've got rid of all of them, then you can have the opportunity to strike and get rid of Metalhead. The fifth boss is Shock. That one was quite easy as well, actually, when playing that. And then, of course, you have Nasty Nork, who, again, I think is quite easy. The only criticism I can say about these bosses in Spyro is that I think they're too easy, I think. I'm looking forward to playing Spyros 2 and 3 to see if they're a bit more challenging, like in terms of the bosses, compared to Spyro 1. Some people have said to me that I might enjoy Spyro 2 a bit more than the first one, but we'll see about that when I play it. And then of course you have the flight levels in the game, which are really good, because you've got like the crystal flights, and you've got like, basically in these levels you have to get rid of certain objects to get more gems. These levels are purely for gems to get 100%, and you have to take out certain objects like planes, trains, flying through rings or hoops, or stone objects to get. And you have to destroy all these within a certain time limit, and the more obstacles you hit, the more time you're added on, and the more time you have to complete the level. And of course you got more powers within the game as well to vary the gameplay, but you got Supercharge, which are basically these ramps which have the arrows on them, and when Spyro runs on the ramps, he starts to go a lot faster, and the more ramps you run across, the faster Spyro goes to get to certain areas. Like for example in the Magic Crafter's world or Peacemaker's world, to get to certain areas to get more gems or dragons or dragon eggs. And of course you got the stronger fire breath or invincibility, and basically for that you've got, like when one of the fairies kisses Spyro on the nose, that's when he's got the stronger fire breath and invincibility to break through stronger metal. Like for example those beast, like those spiders I think, or insects within one of the Dreamweaver's worlds, and that's how you get rid of those enemies. And of course the soundtrack. Now I'm gonna actually say I didn't actually listen to much of the soundtrack before I did this review, and the soundtrack, interestingly enough, for those of you who don't know this, but I'm pretty sure all of you know this already, is composed by Stuart Copeland, who is the drummer for the Police, for the band The Police. He was the one that composed the soundtrack, and I've heard some songs from the game when doing the Let's Play, and the music is really good. I need to actually fully listen to the soundtrack to, well, embrace it more, to actually like musically embrace it more. So overall, when looking at all of this that I've written down for like everything that I have, my overall thoughts on the game: Spyro the Dragon, would I recommend it? Yes, I would, because, well, it's a great game. If you like your platforming games like Crash Bandicoot, your 3D platformers like Crash Bandicoot, then I would definitely recommend this game. Now, where would you get it, you're going to ask? Well, basically you can get it from eBay for, well, a very cheap price. I mean, you can't really get a hard copy in the shops nowadays, obviously, since they don't sell PS1 games. But you can get them from eBay, or you can get them from a copy from the PlayStation Store like I got to do the Let's Play. And basically, it's only on the PlayStation 3 store. You can't access it via the PlayStation 4 if you have one. So keep your PS3 intact if you still want to play the game, or if you want to buy the game. And why else would I recommend it? Well, basically, if you enjoy like the gameplay that you have, like collecting the dragons, gems, and eggs, and getting 100%, if you like that kind of challenge, then go for it by all means. I would definitely recommend it. I'm still going to try and go for 100% on this game, despite me completing the Let's Play. I'm still going to try and go for 100% off screen and see if I can get it. And who knows, I might even come back and do the Nasty's loot, I think, or Nasty's treasure hoard, I think. I think that's the final thing. I might come back and do that for a separate video, but we'll see about that. But overall, apart from the bosses being a bit too easy, I think that's my only main criticism of this game. I think that's pretty much it. So I would say Spyro the Dragon is a great game. It's a fantastic game. I mean, I would definitely recommend it for those who are really keen on 3D platforming games and who like a great challenge on getting 100%. And if you want to listen to great music, then I would definitely recommend it for that reason as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this review, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. And keep in mind, I haven't done reviews like this for ages, so I may have been a bit rusty in some places, but thank you all for watching. Please feel free to leave a like. Please feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the game itself, and please feel free to subscribe for more videos coming up in the near future. So until then, guys, this is Clarinetgamer here signing off. I hope you enjoyed this review. Have a good day, and I shall see you later. Till then, goodbye.